Hello, Amy and Justin.
Oh,
Hi, Steve.
How are you guys?
Good.
Um, so I know you guys have known each other for a while from talking to Justin, but could you maybe tell me about your history of how you met and how you started playing together in other bands and how this all led up to Canyons and Locusts?
Sure. Justin, you?
yeah. So I wish I could remember the exact details. 'Cause I think it's a pretty cool story. But I think I had an ad in either the Village Voice or the New York Press, looking for like a bass player and a drummer. And Ellen called back, our bass player from our original band, Jumping Bomb Girls, called, and maybe I miswrote the number down, or do you remember exactly? There was
I think it
something
was
with the
me. We
yeah
had a missed number, and it was somehow we still got in touch after he wrote down whoever called him. I was in another band with our friend Ellen, who we ended up playing together with Justin, and we were just kind of splitting up with our guitar player and singer. We just weren't happy at the time, and we were looking for someone. And then that happened. We saw that ad, and I don't remember who.
So I now remember my roommate at the time wrote the number down, and she I don't maybe she did it purposely. Who knows? She wrote the wrong number, and I called that fallacious number back, and obviously the person was like, "What are you talking about?" But I kept calling different iterations of that number until I got you guys.
Yeah,
We met up and played some music at Coyote, right? This
yeah, at
the,
Coyote in Williamsburg.
we were in New York City at the time, and
Mhm.
we met up at Coyote Studios in Williamsburg, in Brooklyn, and played for a couple of hours. Maybe we had some beers during that time, possibly, and it was awesome. And we were just like
How long ago was that?
Well,
99.
Not,
99.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, so you guys have been playing together for over 20 years.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wow,
we
that's
have to put
cool.
put a number on it.
yeah. Right, yeah.
That's
You can't
okay.
believe it. We were just babies. Yeah.
We were.
Yeah.
And you did a lot of gigging around New York City for a while with the other band. What was the name of the band again? The
Jumping Bomb Girls.
Jumping Bomb Girls. I like that name
Yeah,
actually.
we did. We recorded four-ish full lengths, five maybe.
Wow.
And we played a lot, and we did a little out of towning and stuff. Yeah, it was great. We still actually get together and play. So even when I moved to Arizona in the early 2000s, we would all convene in Ohio and write and record records. And
Why Ohio?
our bass player lives there, and I'm
Wow.
from there originally. So
Oh,
it
you
just,
are?
yeah, I'm a
We're in Ohio,
Cleveland area.
Cleveland area. And Justin, you're originally from the Boston area.
Yep.
Okay, and this is a good segue. You still live in Boston, but Amy lives in Phoenix, which is kind of unusual, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to get together, come here to get together to record. What made you decide to do it here? Is it because you were here with a business, Justin, or
I don't know. I can't remember like the exact mechanics of what had us thinking of Boston this time. We were actually originally, this was going to be a project with the Jumping Bomb Girls, and our Ellen, our bass player, had some stuff come up and couldn't make it, and Amy and I kind of were talking over Facebook, and I write a lot of songs, and they're all really short, and I just would like send them as little voice recordings to Amy, and there were some songs that were coming out that were sort of like a little bit harder edged, maybe a little bit more raw than the Jumping Bomb Girl stuff, which is really like super power poppy and just fuzzy, um and so I mean I just kind of thought maybe maybe this is a new project. And let's push this forward.
Yeah.
And
So I was like, let's do it out there. And so I reached out to Malibu Lou from Rumbar and said, hey, give me the rundown, give us the rundown on some studios. And he gave, he's Lou, so he's thorough and nice. And he gave a real detailed list of some studios. And we picked Ethan. And then I went out there and I got off the plane. We went right to the studio, only with the voice snippets that Justin had sent. And we made this record.
Wow. It's funny. There's always seems to be a connection between Rumbar and Red on Red. It's like the two labels are so intertwined in so many ways. It cracks me up. It's just like one of those things where I get confused all the time on what band's on what label. I really do, because some of the people are on both labels. So, it's like, you don't know. So that's funny that Lou sent you over. Lou's the one that helped you get recorded. And then Justine at Red on Red released your record, which was going to be my next question, actually. How did you guys end up hooking up with Red on Red? Please say that Lou sent you to Red on Red.
He didn't,
Oh,
which is
So,
odd. Also, I'll say I am actually in another band in Phoenix that is on Rumbar. So
okay.
he knows you guys.
yeah.
French Girls, yeah.
Oh, French Girls.
Oh yeah, French Girls, right? Yes, I do know the French. Yes, I knew
Okay.
you were in that band. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. But there's no Justin is the one who contacted Justine.
So it's weird. I knew, obviously I know French Girls are on Rumbar, but I had no idea of no idea that Rumbar, Justine and Lou were tight, knew each other, and there's a awesome working relationship there. I just knew of Red on Red because an old friend of mine, Peter, who is in the band Devil Love, is on Red on Red, and I'd seen him post on Facebook, and I'd seen him post some of his videos, and it just kind of was in the back of my mind because I wasn't even really thinking about doing music for a long time. But when this came together, like, oh well, Peter always seemed like, he's got some nice loud melodic stuff, and he always had really good things to say about Justine. So I just reached out to her, and then the whole then it was like, oh, there's this whole giant community and working relationship, and so
There
that's pretty
is.
cool.
Yeah, the two labels really are intertwined. I'm not kidding when I say that. I've had both Lou and Justine on my show, and there's a lot of cross collateralization. Just a good excuse for me to use that, cross collateralization. So I really like Ethan. I've known Ethan for a long time, Ethan DeSalt at New Alliance. And I wanted to ask you what it was like working with him on the Roll the Dice record, because I think you guys really nailed it on this album. So I'm assuming you had a good working relationship.
Yeah, he's in a way a little different than some places that we work. Some people were really focused on creating the fun, jovial environment, and he is very work focused.
Yes.
And it's different, but it really works. It worked. It just worked. He gave us as much input as we wanted, and then he kept everything rolling. And then I think the real truth with him comes out in the final product. I don't know, Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you, Amy, you and I were both we've never sounded this good, both just as a band and as playing together, but also our individual instruments. I thought that the drums and the guitar both sounded really how we wanted them. We've wanted them to sound for a long time.
Yeah. He gave us everything we wanted, for sure.
Yeah, and he did, in his own way. I think he did a really good job at sort of. I remember at one point he was like, "No, noisy is okay." I was like, "All right, good."
I know Ethan fairly well because we talk a lot, and we're in the same building a lot. And he's business. He's all business.
Focused, yeah.
But he's still a funny guy and has a great personality. He's just more about, like, when it comes to work. Like, I know sometimes if you walk in the studio when he's in there, you're like, I'm not interfering with anything here, am I? Because he's very intense, but he's good. He's real good. And I think that, this record is like, as you guys said, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to go back and listen to some of your other stuff, but I got to tell you, I think he nailed it. Because when I first heard the album, Justine sent it to me, and I was like, wow, I really like this. Now I got to talk to you about this because this is really interesting. On Roll the Dice, every song is less than 3 minutes long. And some, like Ancient Mustang, clocks in at, I believe, around 1:16. This is pretty common when you listen to a lot of hardcore and punk bands, but not too common with indie rock bands. Is it just that you just wanted to get to the chorus and the bridge really quickly in the songs, and you wanted to do it quick and not stretch it out? I mean, what was your creative thought process? I know you wrote the songs, Justin, so this is more for you, but Amy, you can chime in too. How do you think it ended up that all these songs were under, like, way under 3 minutes, I should say? I think the longest one was like 2:36.
So I have to tell you that song that's 2:36 is like our Cashmere. That's like, for in our history, like, dude, we had, like, in the Jumping Mom Girls, we had songs that were 35 seconds and 40 seconds, like, I don't know. I a big fan of Guided by Voices. We both are. So I think when I was starting to, in my early 20s, when I was really starting to, like, write songs, and they were pretty formative. The Ramones, of another big influence. I wish I had, like, a good story of, like, it's my artistic statement, and just like this is, like, get in and get out. And it just it's always been how it's just felt natural to me to not,
not stretch it out.
Yeah, I mean, I want people to, like, be nodding their head. Like, I want the music to be loud and fuzzy and thunder drums, but I want people to be singing the song. So I guess, yeah, we kind of, like, we want to get to that chorus and maybe do it twice. And I play chords, like, that's why.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it works. I mean, I like
you.
it, actually, and I was able to listen to the record in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
a lot less. And
you don't have to spend a whole day.
Yeah, I mean, when you came in with the songs, what did Ethan say to you about the length of the songs? Was he surprised?
I don't think he said anything, right?
He said anything. He really let us just do what we wanted to do, and we played them for the first time in the studio together. So he, I could tell that he started understanding them as every song got complete.
So you guys never rehearsed those tracks? Wow.
No, I mean, we did some run throughs in the studio, but until we felt like we got it right, but no pre-rehearsing or anything.
And how long were you at New Alliance for?
2 days.
So we did
2 days.
2 days, and then I came back to
just a little bit.
I think I just did a couple of things in the final mix.
Yeah, for all you musicians out there listening, take note of this interview. You don't have to waste a lot of time in the studio. You can actually do it. And you know what? Some records I've worked on in the past have been under the same conditions, have come out great. But, I also worked for a major label, and it would take 5-6 months for someone to make a record. So it's like,
Wow.
But do you feel like when you only have a short amount of time, do you feel like you need to perform? Do you feel like you're under pressure? I mean, what's your feeling What was your feeling while you were doing this?
No pressure for me. I didn't feel any pressure. You do feel a sense of urgency, but that is something that we like, both of us, in music that we listen to. I'll speak for Justin on that, and then he can tell you his answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, so it creates a little bit of that, and we like that. So
Yeah, I think I'll speak for Amy. I think like both of us tend to, left to our own devices, both of us tend to be like overthinkers, and we definitely like, if you say, oh yeah, you have 7 months to create this record, I think probably for us and for this project, that wouldn't be ideal. I think we kind of were conscious of trying to capture that urgency, and like just kind of looking at each other and like, hey, it kind of built momentum as we were doing the song. We were
Right.
just like, we can do this. Like we just nailed this song. We've never rehearsed. We ran through it a few times. This sounds great. And I would give Ethan props for that as well. I think sometimes when you go into a studio and you're like, yeah, we're an indie rock band and our songs are really short and they have kind of quirky titles, and it can be easy for someone to sort of, I'm not even saying that this has happened to us because we've worked with really, really good people in the past, but I feel like it can be easy for someone to kind of write it off as like a novelty project. And from the very first second we were in there with Ethan, we're like, this dude is taking us seriously.
yeah.
And that felt amazing. And I think you absolutely hear that in the record, that it wasn't like, it's who we are. It's not a novelty thing.
I'm not sure if I asked you this before. I think I started to, about the Red on Red deal. Did you actually finish the record and then approach Justine? How did that all come together?
So we recorded in December, and then I went back actually December 31st to do the final mix with Ethan. And we were going to release it ourselves, and I think Amy had already done a lot of the groundwork for that, kind of getting it set up. And we even put a SoundCloud out with the songs, and then when I contacted Justine, and she listened to it, and she sent us this like amazing message that I could probably quote word for word because it was like, it made me so happy. And then at the end of the message, she was like, I wish you had sent this to me earlier because I definitely would have wanted to release it. And Amy was like, we were talking, and it was like, we can do this. Like, it's all there already. We don't have to put it out ourselves. And then I wrote her back and I said, we're absolutely willing to put whatever plans we had to get it out there on, like, to scrap them and have you do it. Would you be interested in it? And she said yes.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I,
great.
wa- yeah, I want to ask you about a couple other things here. This is a little bit random, Amy, but I think my memory serves me well that the French girls may have done at least one gig with the Love Me Nots in Arizona, in Phoenix. Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was
More
their
than one.
manager. I was their manager.
Okay.
So I know Nicole and Michael and them, and Christine. I just saw actually the Darts a couple of weeks ago because they were through town. But
Yeah, I
I
saw
talked
that.
to, yeah, I didn't remember that before, but then I thought French girls. I think they played with the Love Me Nots, and you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
did. Yeah, I thought so. As I was going to ask you guys about other bands that have influenced you and bands that you're listening to. Well, let's start with the influence part. Justin, I'm curious, like, where do some of your songwriting influences come from?
Guided by Voices is a big one.
Yeah.
Husker Du and Sugar, Bob Mould is huge. Those are kind of, I think those are sort of the two like big touchstones for me. I like, melody is super important to me. I want people to sing. I want our songs to be catchy. But also like really loud, fuzzy guitars have always been important to me, and like Jesus and Mary Chain, a lot of
Right.
feedback. And then just growing up, I think I'm grew up at a nice time here in Boston where like the old like BCN and ZLX and the oldies stations were playing a lot of, like the classic rock station would play a lot of like really great one-hit wonders, like with, just good pop songs, good rock songs. And now you turn on classic rock and it's like, oh, we're gonna hear Pearl Jam for the 58th time
Yeah.
in the So I think that's kind of the big stuff for me.
Yeah, kind of 80s-ish, I guess you're talking 80s, 90s. Husker Du went into the 90s. Yeah, it makes sense to me that you would like those bands. Absolutely. What about you, Amy? I mean, is there any drummers that you like channeled?
I mean, I'm like a elderly person. Older, I've been listening to, that,
You're not that elderly. Come
no,
on.
I'm just, for a long time. But early on, I always liked really great, simple drummers, Jerry Nolan, Charlie Watts. Not that they're simple,
Wow.
but just that it's effective and perfect to me. And now I watch everybody, and I love everyone. Dale Grover, people that just do amazing stuff. So all I like many genres, so I try to watch the instrumentation in all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of music. I couldn't even, but I think for us, a lot of our love of like 90s indie rock comes into play. And then old punk stuff. We're getting a lot of GBV meets Gun Club, in some of our early reviews.
Gun
And
Club. Good
yeah,
one.
which is, a huge favorite of mine. I'm a,
I love that you
different
said Jerry Nolan. I love that you said Jerry Nolan first. That was great. My friend
Yeah.
Greg Allen was the singer of Jerry Nolan and the Profilers.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so he'll be happy. Yeah, he was a drummer also. Greg was, but that's really, yeah. I was thinking that Charlie Watts was going to be something I thought you were going to mention Charlie for some reason. Absolutely. So what do you
I
guys
think,
listen? I'm sorry, go ahead.
so just jump in and say, just on like playing our instruments, I think one of the things that I loved the most about this record is just the experience of making it. Is like, I think both Amy and I are pretty self-effacing in terms of like our belief in our own instrumentation, like, but I think for both of us on this record, there are times where I was like astounded by the stuff that Amy came up with, and I
Thanks.
think, and I feel like
Likewise. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, I feel like we both were like, not that we're always fans of each other, of course. Like, I think this kind of took it up to another level, and we're both like, oh man, like you're really good at like this, like this stuff is really a little new for both of us, and I think that so it's kind of cool for me to hear Amy talk about like where her style comes from.
Are you guys listening? Go ahead.
I just said simple and effective is, my favorite. And Justin is an amazing songwriter, and it's really time for people
It's
to
a
see
love
that.
fest.
It is.
Is there any new music or new records that you guys are listening to that you like these days? I always ask everyone that just because I'm curious. A pregnant pause.
I just went to see the Bobby Lees, and I love this second record that they put out. I like the first one too, but I think that they're really great. I love the energy. Oh God, there's so much. I have to think on that a minute.
What about you, Justin? Anything that pops into your head?
Yeah, I was really glad that the Helicopters
Oh yeah.
came back. Man, I love them so much. So their new stuff. I was happy that Ghost came out with another new record. I guess these aren't like new bands, but
Yeah, the last
yeah,
couple GBV records have been great.
amazing. Yeah.
So before I let you go, Are you going to be able to get together and tour?
Yes.
Do you think there'll be a Boston show?
Yes. We've got some planned in late October and early November.
Yep.
Are you going to do like a full-on national tour? Are you going to piece something together regionally? Do you know yet?
I think we're going to do some stuff out here in the end of the summer in Phoenix, and then Boston. And then I haven't really told a lot of folks, but I'm relocating at the end of the summer to Connecticut. So,
Oh,
yes,
it's a New England band.
the New England band. People are really excited. I've had a few people who live in that area officially welcome me to New England. So that seems like it must be a thing people like to do, to welcome you to that region. So we'll be in a closer proximity. So we'll be able to, do more live.
As
Yeah.
someone, I was going to say, as someone that's lived in Phoenix, I used to live near 7th Avenue in McDowell, by the way.
Oh, I live very close to there.
Yeah, I lived there for a few years, and lives in New England. It's a lot different. So get ready for that.
Don't scare her away.
I mean, I'd much rather be driving around in Arizona than Massachusetts, but you'll see what I mean once you get here.
Yeah,
I'm
excited for us to play, because I think that it'll sound pretty cool, and maybe a little bit different than the record.
Yeah.
I think we got something that I'm excited to get in front of people.
Well, I thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm excited
Thank
about
you.
your record. I'm going to
Thank
play
you.
a few tracks from it on the show here.
Cool.
And I wish you guys the best of luck, and good luck with Red on Red. I think you're in good hands with Justine. She's awesome. So congratulations on
Yeah,
this.
thank
this
you.
Great
We're gonna
record.
Thank you
make
so
it-
much.
We're going to make you come out to a show.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you guys live because I love the songs.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve.
All right,
That's
guys.
very nice to
Thank
hear.
you.
All right.